Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Happy Friday!
There it is! Yeah.
We made it to the end of another work week. Tough one for the guards yesterday. G. Bush a little under the weather because of it. Not feeling well. He's going to be a little late today.
No, it's not that he's sick. Can we tell the
Doesn't he have Guardian flu? I thought he was sick over the game last night.
No, so G called me, texted me actually at 10:32 and said, McNuggets, I got an issue. I said, all right, G, it's 10:32. You're supposed to be here in 28 minutes. What's the issue? He goes, my wife took my keys to work. I don't have keys to my car.
I don't understand how this happens.
I said, G, call an Uber, get your butt down here. So his Uber is ETA. He shared his ride ETA with me is 11:07. So
wow,
we'll see G in a few minutes.
I don't either. Like, well, wait a minute. Why does she?
That's actually a fear of mine.
Yeah, I could.
It's a total fear of mine, not being able to find my keys.
Yeah,
it's happened.
Well, no, I mean everybody loses their keys, but that they ended up with his wife.
Oh, I've had that happen.
Have
where
you really?
I've had both sets of keys.
don't you put your keys in the same place every day?
Theoretically,
Yeah.
yes. But I mean, some days they're on my desk. Some days they're on the hook with the keys. Right. Sometimes they're in the car. Sometimes they're upstairs.
I always
next
leave
to
mine
the
in the
nightstand.
car. Always.
Leave your keys in the car?
Always.
I do quite.
It's always
often.
in a locked garage. It's
Yeah.
never anywhere else.
I mean,
if I'm parking downtown or something, then I'll take my keys.
I mean, my keys are in my car right now. So if you want to break into the Channel 3 garage, you can have it.
Bring two.
Well, why
Mine's right next to
why
yours.
do you leave your keys in the car, though? Why?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I know where they are.
Yeah.
I put them in the same place every day without fail.
Do you have a car where you have to put the key in the ignition?
No.
Okay, so like you can
I
put it
guess.
under your seat. No one's going to know it's
Yeah,
there.
but
you.
I don't park in a garage.
Yeah, sure you do.
At home?
Well, here I do.
At home you do,
no,
I'm
no,
sure.
no.
You
No.
don't?
Oh.
Oh, wow.
No, not normally. I mean, the only flaw in my house is we only have a one-car garage.
Oh, okay.
It's old, and we
Okay.
spent so much money fixing up the house, I didn't want to be at the garage.
Yeah.
Because you don't really need it, except when it's like snow, and we don't get that much snow.
Man, that's hell.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The convenience.
I'm with
And
you.
I'm not. The new ones now, you have a remote. You can. And now with electric cars, you could never start it in the garage. You
Right.
kill everybody in the
Right,
house.
right.
But the beauty of mine now is it has temperature control. If I want to set the control to at 9 or 10:20
Yeah.
to kick on the air, it does no problem, and you go in the car and it's climate control
Well,
ready. And in the winter, it's really going to be nice.
Yeah, I could do that too. But honestly, how many times do we get heavy snow? Not that often.
I don't care.
Especially on the west side.
Yeah,
It's enough.
I don't
My
know.
least favorite thing to do in the world is to clean
clean off a
windshields,
car.
especially when it's
I
ice.
hear you.
At 8 a.m.,
Oh.
7 a.m., the ice
Obviously-
is that thick on the
Yeah,
car.
it's-
Obviously,
man.
we've learned that I'm not as hoity-toity as Jason and Jay.
Oh, shut.
Or you're not as lazy as we are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I don't think that's
for
true.
me, it's just a matter of convenience. It's how I want to spend
Yeah.
my time.
Alessia has the app. My car doesn't even have it. Her
Yeah.
car has you can do everything from the app.
Yeah, I
this is
love
how
it.
stupid I am. I set up her account for her with an incorrect email address.
Now you
So
don't know how to get
now
it.
I'm like locked out. Everybody's locked out of this.
Oh, so she must
Oh,
be pissed at
there's
you.
Well,
gotta
she
be a way
never
to reset it.
She never used it, but you got to use the email address to reset it, and it goes to an email address that doesn't exist because she has a Yahoo and a Gmail, and I combined the front of her Yahoo with the
Okay,
back
so
of
I've
the
got
Gmail.
I've got this fixed out. Figured it out for you. Make an email address to the one that you set up the account with.
Yeah. Do you remember
Now
what?
you can get a
man, why didn't I
password.
think of that?
Now you can reset
you're
the
right.
password. Boom.
Why
you
did I
go.
think of that?
You're in
I
like
don't know.
Flynn.
Man, I really am an idiot.
No, not really. I've done so many things like that.
Yeah.
That's why I know.
Yeah.
You can figure it out.
Let me
busy
call her real
show.
quick and tell her to do this.
Yeah, tell her to do that. Get on that. Busy show for you today. We're going to talk about which Joe Flacco we're going to see on Sunday. Is there a chance Quinshon Judkins is the best running back on the field Sunday? There's going to be 3 really good ones. We'll get into that, of course, Guardians reaction. And, Mike, 90 minutes YouTube here. Afterwards at 12:30, we go to WKYC for
30 minutes of never-before-seen content. We got the 5 stats you need to know and much, much more, including a winning FanDuel ticket. We're going to get into our first topic today. After the reminder that FanDuel, guys, is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now new customers can bet just $5, and if that $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? If you are, download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. If you guys have winning tickets, make sure you send it in. Scott Prisbiz sent us in a awesome ticket. He placed this back over the summer. It was a 5-part home run season total parlay. Lindor to hit 30, Ramirez to hit 30, Julio Rodriguez to hit 30, Judge and Ohtani both to hit 50. All 5 came true. He turned a $7 bet into $963.41.
Wow, nice job.
That's a
so
great
shout
bet.
out to Scott Prisbiz for that awesome winning FanDuel ticket. If you have a winning FanDuel ticket, make sure you send it in here
I
so
wonder-
we can feature
Should
it.
have been
By the way,
more.
right now, Jason's saying
Should have bet more.
No,
Should have bet
you know what,
more.
I'm just going to ask, what would have it paid if you threw Raleigh on to hit 60?
Oh, well.
Like, that would have been, now you're
Yeah,
talking
I mean-
about like a 5-figure payout.
Nobody would have.
Nobody would have thought of it, but
Yeah.
that's why it would have paid out so
That's
nicely.
crazy.
Should have bet more.
Yeah.
Should have
But
made it 20.
He probably
25.
made 50 of those bets
Right, and that's
at
the one
$7 each.
Right,
so
right,
maybe
right.
he's got $350 invested.
Yeah.
He didn't send us his losing tickets.
That's
they
true.
never do.
Hey, you won $963.
That's a good day.
Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Shout out to
Kudos.
Scott. He's a
Yeah.
daily watcher. We appreciate everyone. If you have winning tickets, make sure you send them in. Let's talk some Guardians, though, guys. Unfortunately, as soon as Bull said he was guaranteeing a win, they did not come through last night, losing 4-2, putting them back in a dead heat with the Detroit Tigers for first place in the AL Central, though Cleveland does technically have the tiebreaker.
What do you mean technically? It's not a dead heat. The
Well, they're
season ended
tied.
today. They'd be in the playoffs, and the Tigers would be a wild card.
When you see the dash, it means tied. They're technically tied.
Well,
even though the
they're-
Oh, they
tiebreaker goes
technically.
to
You said technically they have the tiebreaker. You should have said they're technically tied. If we're going to be technical about it, Mike.
Lord, here
All right,
we
technically
go.
you are correct, but technically you're also a jerk. All right, guys.
Bull's such a stickler.
What do you? No, it's all good. What did you make of the game last night? Are you surprised? And it's a crazy question I'm going to ask, but a starting pitcher gave up more than 2 runs, and
First
that
time
is
in 20
frankly
games.
shocking considering how well the Guardians have been pitching of late.
I'm not surprised it was due. In fact, I had said before yesterday, this is Cleveland, and I texted this to the group. As high as everyone was yesterday, you still have to realize that, and Stephen Vogt said this after the game on Wednesday night, we've won nothing. We've done nothing.
That's right. Nothing's clinched.
Nothing is clinched. And the odds of Cleveland beating Detroit 6 straight games in the matter of, a little more than a week, was an extreme long shot anyhow. And I just felt that it's just due. They're due an L. All that being said, it's not doom and gloom. You still have your destiny in your own hands. Go win 3 games against a Rangers team that's lost 9 of their last 10. And Bull, I don't know if you've watched any of them. They're sleepwalking.
Yeah, they're
They
finished.
are sleepwalking.
Yeah,
if
you
you
know-
don't get into the playoffs now, it's your own fault.
And the Tigers aren't. I mean, the Tigers are not going to sweep the Red Sox anyway, so they don't even.
wouldn't
need,
think.
They don't even need to win 3 games to win the division.
Right.
I'd like to see them lock it up by tomorrow because I don't want to have to pitch Gavin Williams on Sunday.
You better win tonight. You better win tonight.
Yeah, you gotta
I
win
agree with
tonight.
that.
If you're the
Get it
Guardians.
out of the way,
That's
man.
the Rangers' best pitcher left that you'll face. Is
Yep.
Jack Leiter's pitched well, and he pitched well against the Guardians. But Cicconi's pitched extremely well, obviously down the stretch here. You got to take care of business tonight. Boston's got to play Detroit. Guardians have the tiebreaker over both the Astros and the Tigers.
What a luxury that is, too, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, Houston's on the West Coast, so you're not
The
going to know
Angels, yeah.
till.
You know,
late.
it
right.
brings up an interesting dilemma, and I don't know if you guys have asked around or what they would do. I think I know the answer to this.
I
but
wonder if it's gonna be the one I
if
talked about this
Guardians
morning.
Win,
Yeah.
you got to stick around the clubhouse and watch the Astros West Coast game because you
Oh,
want to
no,
celebrate
I'm going
the play.
home.
There you go.
Really?
I celebrate the next day.
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
That
I'm
game's
thi-
not
Celebrate
gonna-
after you win the division.
You play. I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
guys.
That game won't be over till like 1 in the morning.
Well, I mean, we say that because the games used to take 3 hours.
All right, but so 12:30.
Yeah, I mean, and by the
And they're
time
going to be
they're
done at
done,
9:30. You're not going to sit around
Yeah.
for 3
I
hours.
don't think they're gonna
I
do
want
it.
to
We'll
be.
see.
I want to be with the peeps. I want to be with my guys when that happens.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think an interesting question here is this is going to be, and this is possible. This could come down to this. Let's say going into Sunday, They have clinched a playoff spot,
But not the division.
But not the division.
Yeah, you do. You throw them.
I would not pitch Gavin Williams
I
on
throw
Sunday.
him.
I would pitch Cantillo on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm still
what would you do,
pitching.
Jason?
Gavin.
Yeah, I think that's the right
throw
call.
Gavin.
And I'll let you answer why. My why is you have such a distinct advantage as a division winner. And in normal years, if there was separation between ace and, let's say, deuce here, I would say, yeah, save your ace. But I don't think there's that big of a difference.
I disagree, but go ahead.
So I haven't looked at this. It's an excellent point. I hadn't really thought all the way through. So if Gavin throws Sunday and they, worst case scenario, Gavin throws Sunday and they lose. Okay, so they're the wild card. They're not.
Right.
So when do they play again? And would Bybee
Tuesday,
be available?
Wednesday, Thursday.
And Bybee would be available, would he not?
Yes, he would
Okay,
be.
then I would throw Gavin.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Tanner's been so good.
He's been great.
For the last month. I think he sort of figured some things out. I agree with you. It's not like you have Scooble and then everybody else.
Right.
You know, are we sure Gavin is the ace? Are we even sure of that?
I said
I'm 100%
yesterday he's
sure
my
of that
ace
right
now.
now.
I mean,
but to your question, I don't think there's an ocean of difference between
Correct.
ace and deuce in
Correct.
this situation. I
Yeah.
think go with
Yeah.
just let it ride.
I
Go
don't
for
know.
that
I
division.
I want the division. I want the games
Yeah, but
at
you're
home.
talking as if Cantillo pitches, they're going to lose. I would still
No, I'm
assume.
not.
Well, that's what you're
But
saying.
he gives
You're
you a
saying
be-
it is
but
a-
he gives you a better.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
going
but
with the guy that gives me the better chance
chance.
in the most meaningful game on the schedule, which is today. Which is.
But it's not because you're already in the playoffs, so it's not the most.
But
It
it's a
is,
pretty
but look at the
significant
advantage.
difference.
Look at the difference between being a wild card that has to go on the road and play 3 games,
Yeah.
compared to a team that wins a division.
Well, the
and-
wild card versus winning division doesn't matter. It's just road versus home.
That's
Yeah, but that's
significant.
I mean, look at the crowds we've had over there.
I hear you,
90,000
but
over the last 3
the
games.
actual most important games, the playoff games, I'd rather have the first 2 games be Williams and Bybee than Bybee and Ciccone.
Okay, let me play
Wait,
this
can
way.
I ask a question real quick
Yeah.
on this bowl? If they don't pitch Williams on Sunday,
Yeah.
which would be 5 days his normal rest, in the 6-man rotation, Monday would be his normal pitch day, assuming they had a game. Tuesday would then be 7 days of rest between starts.
I don't
is that,
care.
Is that
That's
over
fine.
rest?
This time of year, that's
Yeah,
fine.
no, I'm not worried about that.
You throw bullpens.
Yeah, I'm not worried
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And it's a great question, and it's a valid point.
I mean,
And
I
I'm sure
understand
they're
the
having-
argument where you're coming from.
Right,
I
I'm sure
get
they're
it.
having this conversation in the front office.
Yeah,
The
There's
question
probably
is-
people on our side and there's people on his side.
And
And
you know
that's
what?
why you want to
So-
wrap it up Saturday, so you don't have to make that decision.
That's why, and to your
Yeah.
point, like win
Win it
tonight,
tonight.
Yeah.
get one in the bank, and
Yeah.
then you might have, then you have the luxury of scoreboard watching and seeing what Detroit does.
If you kick this away tonight, now you're starting to feel a little bit of pressure because everyone just
That's
assumes
a
you're
totally
in.
different
Absolutely
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
So you better win tonight. And the Rangers are beat up. They're without some of their best players. They're just trying to.
3 of their top hitters are
Yeah,
out.
they're just trying to get to the. They're just trying to get the season over with.
If
at
they
this point.
lose to the Rangers,
Yeah.
it at that point is totally on them as a fumble because the ball is in their arm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
now.
control their
And
own destiny.
The Rangers, I went back and looked. They won 6 in a row. Bull, I don't know what happened to them. They won 6 in a row.
They
were
were
on
a game out of the
real
wild
heater.
card.
They were
Yeah.
they were rolling, and then all of a sudden, someone turned out the lights, and they've lost 9 of their last 10 games.
They've been
Yeah, yeah,
wildly
yeah.
erratic all year.
Now,
All
those
year
pitching
long.
Yeah.
matchups are not necessarily accurate. Slade Ciccone is pitching tonight. The Saturday and Sunday are to be determined. This would be the rotation if they stayed in rotation. But
Right.
even Saturday with Logan Allen is not. They have not locked him in for Saturday, and they certainly haven't locked Cantillo
Let me ask
in
you
for
this:
Sunday.
what could happen that would change that? I can't envision anything that
Well, they could.
like what.
If they might decide to pitch, because right now I think they like Cantillo more than Logan Allen.
Okay.
And they could decide to pitch Cantillo on Saturday if they think they're going to need Williams on Sunday. I mean,
So and that would most likely happen with a loss tonight.
So
Right,
they lose
so-
tonight,
okay.
Detroit wins. They're a game back.
I would listen
They
to that
win both
argument.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
do like Cantillo more than Allen.
Right.
Although, gosh, there's been a couple outings recently where I've watched Allen and said, okay, that was the guy we were advertised to be getting that we
Yeah.
just haven't gotten enough of.
I just think they're really, like, to me, Cantillo's in the playoffs, to me, it goes Williams, Bybee, Ciccone, Cantillo. That's their 4 starters for me in the playoffs.
In the words of the great Jay-Z, finish your breakfast, man. In other words, if you don't listen to rap lyrics, is finish strong. You've done what you needed to do. You've put yourself in position. You did the heavy lifting. Don't let this little Texas Rangers thing stand in the way of you finishing what you're supposed to. Come out here and get this win, and you can kick your feet up. So this is the most pivotal game right here. Like, this is a team that Jason already said they've already given up. They got 3 of their best hitters out. And at the end of the day, the Guardians, I think, will have the eye of the tiger, for a lack of a better term. But I think they'll come out and be ready to go. They drop one, but this is where you get it done. Get these dudes up off the sticks. Yeah. And I do believe that it is imperative that you get the division, because I believe that the Guardians have probably one of the best home field advantages when it comes to the playoffs. And I want the most games at home. I want them games at home.
Yeah, there's a nice advantage for them to be at home. I know we don't want to really look backwards. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I thought last night Missick pitched well. I mean, he made 3 mistake pitches. Well, I mean, obviously, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy it? Yep. But when you dissect the game after the fact, I felt like, and I said this on his first start too, we were watching it upstairs with a bunch of the sports guys from Digital, and I said, he's getting results, but he's a little too herky-jerky. He felt like he was, like, it's his first major league start. I get it. And I've since come to find out that's just how he pitches. He's got a lot of that nervous energy that we've seen other pitchers possess. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like he looked like the moment was going to overtake him, and I felt like it did.
I also think
it's a shame.
I also think, Jay, that like he's in such an early stage in his major league career. Like, this was an issue we had. This is a big issue I had with Gavin Williams that he's finally overcome. Well, finally, he hasn't been in the league that long. But like when Gavin Williams, really until early this season, he'd get 2 strikes and then he'd start nibbling for that perfect pitch.
And that's what happened with the home run balls.
Bobby's the same way.
He was up 0-2 and then got Q.
Exactly. That's what Messick's doing now.
Yeah, and then he had to groove one.
Like Gavin Williams is not really doing that anymore. That's like the next progression of a pitcher. And he hasn't pitched a lot.
I think that's trusting your stuff. Yeah, and I think Carl Williams had been whispering and now finally shouting in Gavin's ear, trust your stuff.
Right,
and he would get up, and this is exactly what Messick did yesterday. First hitter of the game, he gets up 0-2. And then he's nibbles. Now he's full. You don't want to walk the leadoff guy. He pipes one, and it's a home run.
And I think we've seen Joey Cantillo make that adjustment now, too, since his last time in the minors. They really worked on, with him, like, throwing strikes.
And his
I really, like, I'm irrationally high on Cantillo.
Yeah, I'm high on him, too. I like him a lot.
I like him, too.
Yeah, I thought they left Messick. It didn't ultimately matter because they only scored 2 runs. But I thought he left Messick in too long, which I've rarely complained about.
So
I don't want to make too big a deal about it.
Yeah, I know. Where are you on the panic meter?
0.
Not even.
I'm very confident.
Okay, I'm because I'm a Cleveland sports fan.
I get it.
I'm nothing but scar tissue. I'm like a 2.
Your resting heart rate is a 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's the baseline for me. Now, interestingly enough, if we get, so there's 6 results that are remaining, and I'm just looking at the division. I know there's a safety net of the wild card. I'm just looking at the division. There's 6 results remaining. The Guardians need 3 positive results. So if you're flipping coins, that's a 50-50 shot. And now I know that there's more that goes.
It's not 50-50.
Yeah, it is. You need 3.
The Tigers need 4 positive.
No, if our magic number's 3, correct?
Right.
Yeah,
so we need 3 positive. We need 3 positive results out of 6 potential.
Right, but the Tigers need 4 out of 6.
Yeah, but Bull, what if we get 2?
Then they get 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's 50-50 proposition.
It's not, because if the Guardians get 3 and the Tigers get 3, the Guardians win.
Exactly, 50-50 proposition. What the odds? Now the other odds would be there's 6 results remaining. If we get 2 favorable results, we're out. So if you look at it from that standpoint, all we need is 3. It's a 50-50 shot that we get those 3. If you're just flipping coins. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it. Momentum, but our momentum was stopped last night. Also, the quality of opponent, and where are you? You're at home. You've got a worse team than...
Right.
So I would say from the 50-50, if I'm factoring in home field and quality of opponent, now I'm kicking it up for the Guardians to like 65%. But should they get 2 unfavorable results tonight, then you're left with 4 results remaining, and you need 3 good ones.
Right.
Which now you're down to a 25% if you're flipping coins.
Sure.
So win tonight. Just put this thing to bed as fast as you can.
I'm just going to clarify one more time, and then we'll probably bang heads on this again, and I'll let it go. But technically, 3 is not 50-50 because there's 7 possible results. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Zero's not an option.
Zero's not an option.
0 is an option. You could get 0 positive results.
No. I'm saying results, meaning Tigers loss or
There's
Guardians win.
He's saying there's 6 games left.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is the Tigers need more positive results than the Guardians, so it can't be 50-50.
Yeah, Bull. No, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. There's 6 potential results remaining.
Right. I
3
understand
Guardians
what you're saying.
games, 3 Tigers
and we
games.
need 3 positive results. We need 3 to go our way, and then we
Right.
win.
Right, but I'm saying the Tigers need 4 to go their way, so they need
All right,
more.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We got the
because I'm not
Muppet
talking
men.
about the Tigers.
We got the
Again, I'm
Muppet
just
men up
talking
in the
about
balcony.
Guardians.
All right, forget
Yelling
it.
at
That's
each
all right.
other.
And but
I
it's
get
not
it.
really
It
even a
doesn't matter.
50-50 for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reasons I said. You've got home field, you've got the right side. The fact of the matter is, I think we all agree on this. Tonight is clearly the most important game.
There's a lot of pressure
That
if they
could be
don't win tonight.
superseded. Saturdays could become more important depending on what happens, but you don't know that. So tonight, play them like they're elimination games.
Of course.
Well, that's how they've been playing for the last
way.
3 weeks.
And I know I don't know how long you can continue that. We're going to find out.
Well, the
but-
one thing in their favor is by opponent, the Guardians have the best matchup this weekend because
Absolutely.
Houston is in LA Anaheim to play the Angels,
Right.
And Detroit's got their hands full with Boston. Texas is completely checked out. So from that standpoint, the Guardians should have the advantage.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I
and
mean, the Angels are checked out too, but at least they're at home.
They're at home.
Yeah.
we're over 2 million fans for the season. That's good. We're still 20th or 21st in attendance,
I
which
mean,
isn't good.
How can we blame the fans? The team sucked.
No. I'm not blaming
Yeah.
the fans. Well, I'm getting
Yeah.
ready to set something up here.
Yeah.
Before this series, we ran the soundbite on Channel 3 from Stephen Vogt. He basically was pleading for the fans to come out. He wasn't really beating around the bush. He's like, we're going to need you to
And
show
they did.
up. And they did. And then after the game last night, he said it again. We've got the best fans. You guys showed up. You made a difference. However,
We got 3 to go.
we've got the 3 biggest games of the year coming.
Yeah.
I had said before, we had talked Monday, what's a good number
I
for
thought
this
20
series?
to 25. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I thought my baseline is 25. I want 30, and I'd love 35 or 30, whatever.
Well, I think it was
capacity
30,
is.
28, and 30, something like that.
It was 30, or no, 29, 26, and whatever they got last night. Did
It
they
was
get
over
to 30?
30 last night,
Okay.
yeah.
I think they're going to need close to capacity houses tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. And here's the thing. They should be able to do that.
It's the weekend.
My only fear is Sunday's game, you're going to get a lot of folks that just choose to stay home and watch the Browns. I get that.
I think it's going
But
to be over before then.
oh.
So,
Please.
I
I
think
just
Boston-
don't want Sunday to come down to the Guardians have to win.
Yeah.
And then you're watching the Browns and you're watching the Guardians. Like, it's just.
the good news is the Guardians game doesn't start till 3:10 or 3:15.
I know, but I don't want any overlap.
Yeah, I
you
hear
know?
you.
But by then the Browns game might be over.
The Tigers are listen. I was glad Boston lost yesterday because that means they're only a game up on Detroit for that second wild card, and Houston's only 2 back of Boston, so Boston hasn't clinched anything yet.
No, they have not.
If Boston wins tonight, and you kind of want, in a way, if the Guardians win, I kind of want Houston to win tonight. Because
To put pressure on Boston?
Keep Boston wanting
Meaningful
to win at least
baseball
one
for
more
Saturday
game.
and Sunday. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah. At
Yeah,
least Saturday.
I think Crochet's supposed to throw this weekend, isn't he?
He was. He's supposed to.
He's lined up to. I think he's lined
I
up.
think
to
he
get
is.
one
think
more
so,
start.
yeah.
I think he is. So, Bo, I hadn't thought about that, but that's an interesting point because you don't want Boston to glide into Saturday with with nothing
because
on the,
I
on the line.
I think Boston has the tiebreaker over Houston, if I remember correctly.
I didn't look at that.
I looked at it this
I just
morning. I
looked at-
can't remember now, but
Detroit has it over Houston, right?
Houston doesn't have a tiebreaker.
No,
with
you're
anyone.
right. Crochet's not pitching anymore.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I thought he was.
But so if Boston wins tonight and Houston wins tonight, and Houston loses, Boston clinches a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Now they don't clinch right now they're the 5 seed. I guess that doesn't, whether you're the 5 or 6 doesn't really matter much.
Just
In
on
fact-
who you play.
Matchup.
In fact, you'd probably rather be the 6 because then you get to play the Guardians. If you're the Red Sox, you'd rather play the Guardians than the Yankees.
Yeah. There's a real possibility that we get 2 great series in the first round. I mentioned this Wednesday. We could get Cleveland, Detroit, and Boston, New York.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be a blast.
what more do you want?
Speaking of Cleveland, Detroit, let's pivot from a Cleveland-Detroit game in one sport to a Cleveland-Detroit game in another. Our next topic is brought to us by Mazda, moving the game forward for those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, keeping us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and move the game forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda move and be moved. All right, guys, the Browns' defense has been awesome through the first 3 games of the season. They rank number 1 in the NFL in a number of different categories, but this got me thinking about 2023 again. And you go back to that 2023 Browns defense, G. They were incredible at home, not as nearly as good on the road. I'll pull back the splits in case you forgot. We could show you the difference between the home and road splits from that 2023 defense. The record, obviously, is not all defensive, but it was 8-1 on home, 3-5 on the road. They held opponents at home to under 14 points per game. On the road, it was 29.6%. Their third down stop rate was, you want lower for this stat, by the way, lower is better. They held opponents to converting just 29.9% of their third downs, 33.6 on the road. Look at the quarterback rating, a 22-point differential and 15 more sacks at home than on the road. Small sample size in 2025, G, but at home they held the Bengals and the Packers to a combined 26 points. They allowed Baltimore to score 41 on the road.
Yeah, but that's not fair, Mike, because those points were mostly scored by the defense.
That's why I said it was tiny sample size. I'm just asking, with the Browns going back on the road to Detroit this week, a team that just scored 38 on Baltimore, scored 50 in week 2. G, what do you have to see from this Browns defense to feel confident this isn't a trend that will repeat from 2023 and this defense can hold its own on the road?
Well, they need to get some. They need to get some help from their compadres, their brothers. I know it's. We say it all the time. What exactly is complementary football? Well, complementary football is continuing to go do what you guys need to do, but also getting a little help from your offense, and that means not going 3 and out. That means not having turnovers or turnovers that lead to touchdowns. That means punting the football and pinning guys deep and making them take the long, the long field. So all these different things is things that you can use to help your defense out. And sometimes when you are a head coach or a play caller, you have to understand that, I'm calling the plays, but my defense is the team that's leading what we need to do. So what we need to do is basically play to their strengths, play to put them in the best position to play. So if I'm the Cleveland Browns, there's certain play calls and there's certain things that I need to do that I need to accentuate my defense. If I got an opportunity to take a long approach where now it's 12, 15, 16 plays, I'm going to do that. If it's an opportunity for me to be aggressive and put points on the board, not be conservative, because what it helps you is if the Cleveland Browns, the longer that they stay in a lead or close to the game, it makes them a little nervous because the Browns defense can really put some things together that can hinder you from scoring. Not just that, but specifically about the defense. Continue to have this mentality. This year is a little bit different for me. I go back and look at that 2023 roster, and they still had Myles Garrett, they still had Denzel Ward, they still had JOK and some of those other things. I think Jim Schwartz is a little more confident in the pieces and parts he has. If you go back and look, Shelby Harris and some of those guys and Dalvin Tomlinson were your nose tackles and defensive tackle that were getting a lot of minutes for you. Now, look at the change and evolution of the body types. You got Mason Graham. You got, Isaiah McGuire. You got Alex Wright. You got Malik Collins. And, Mike Hall Jr. is coming around. Now you got guys that are running what he wants to run. They got guys at linebacker that can run. Devin Bush was always a guy that could run from coming out of Michigan. So I think actually, to be truthful, they got better pieces and parts. Even though they're young pieces and parts, it's better suited to what they want to do. And when you have Myles Garrett, as we talked about yesterday in the show, I think Myles Garrett is playing the best football of his career right now, especially the way he's getting after the run, especially his motor. 3 guys is getting taken up by him. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player, and he probably is the best non-quarterback. And through 3 weeks, he's playing the best football out of anybody in the entire league. So when you got that dude as a queen piece on the board and moving him around, you got a chance against anybody, even with the Lions.
I see what you're saying about, you need the complementary, you got to have the offense do their part. I went back and looked at a couple of results from the 23 season. It was really strange. They had allowed 28 points, I think, to the Ravens in their home game that year. And when they went to Baltimore, they allowed 31 points. But the results were wildly different. They got boat raced here at home because the offense scored 3.
That was the
DTR game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they go to Baltimore, they get that almost perfect second half from Deshaun Watson. and they win the game, a game that the defense allowed 31 points. So the complementary piece is worth pointing out. Like, the offense has to do their part. The defense, so many times you lose a game 20-17, and okay, if you give up 20 points, that's not a bad effort. It really isn't, especially if you can hold a quality team like they have this year to 20 points. When you've got all that offense, I know Baltimore scored 41, but 21 of those they were gifted to them. So I look at it that they scored 20 against the Browns defense. Hold Baltimore or hold Detroit to 20 points, which I know is a lot easier said than done. And I think they have a chance to win because I do think their offense, if they step in it for a game, can get to 21. But if you give up upwards of 24 points, it's an L, no matter what. And I cannot explain the difference between the offense and or the defense on the road and home in 23. It's one of the most astounding stats you'll look at for a whole year.
I think a lot of it had to do
Quarterbacks they were playing.
That's exactly it. And again, once you remove the emotion, once you get away from the season, you can look back. I mean, they played Clayton Tune at home. They played Trevor Siemian at home. Trevor
was hurt.
When they beat San Francisco at home that year?
Purdy played.
Oh, Purdy did play.
But they had other injuries. Niners had somebody
Trent
else.
Williams and Debo got hurt during the game.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence was here on a high ankle sprain. Burrow in the rain coming off injury, right?
Yep.
So it always felt like there was just something going on with it. For whatever reason, when they had him at home, they play. And I mean, listen, they still got Lamar at home that year. You know, they did play good quarterbacks.
Right, but they gave him 28.
Yeah, but they got gashed.
Yeah, and it just felt like they had a lot of things go their way with opposing quarterbacks that year. It was just one of those strange, fluky things.
Obviously, we got to see the rest of the year, but I never felt as good about that defense as I did for the first 3 weeks of the season. Because I don't think they played three offenses as good as they played this year, that whole season.
Yeah.
Certainly they didn't, like, they started off against either bad teams or teams dealing with injury.
San Francisco came in on a heater, though.
Yeah, they was
outside of that game.
I think we gave them their first loss.
Outside of that game, yes, that game was really good by the defense. But, like, the defense is the biggest difference in this defense is the back seven. I don't think there's much of a difference, but the front four is a huge difference.
Yeah.
That defensive line had one player. This defensive line has way more than one player, and I agree with G that one player, hard to believe, is even better now than he was then. But the talent around Myles Garrett on the defensive line is a million times better than the talent there. I don't think there's much to the home road. I think it was more a coincidence in quarterbacks. And the Ravens, obviously, that's misleading this year. I think they will give up the most points they've given this year in this game, in my opinion. But I don't think
more
it's
than 41.
More. If you
well,
look at
I mean,
Baltimore,
legitimately,
20 points.
Legitimately, yeah.
I agree with you on that.
I think the defense will look its worst in this game, is my opinion. Not that they're going to look bad. I'm just saying that's what I think. I think they'll just be fine.
They're on the road, tough plays against a juggernaut offense.
And generally speaking, from my experience, offensive teams tend to play better at home. You get there's a substantial boost of the way average players play.
And you don't have
home.
to fight the noise.
Right.
You're operating in quiet.
It just feels like it's a different, like, guys will make catches, at home that you necessarily can't count on the road. Especially on the road, it's an uphill battle. Like, you ain't nothing in your favor. So you're gonna face people's best punches. So even if you got some JV quarterbacks, they'll play a little better. Bo Nix played his mind out again that year in 23 against the Browns, and I'm like, man, this is a rookie. He throwing like that, like. C.J. Stroud in the playoff game played out of his mind that game. Like, so at home they get a little bit of bump. It's a little more difficult on the road. But
23 wasn't Nix. Nix was rookie last year, right?
Oh, that was last year.
Yeah,
same thing. I mean, but I guess the point is people still tend to play a little bit better.
No doubt, 100% agree.
Yeah.
By the way, Jay said that he thinks the Browns can win if they hold the Lions to 20 points.
Yeah.
I don't think they can win if they hold the Lions to 20 points. Do you guys?
I do.
I
think their chance of winning goes up substantially.
So
you're not gonna.
But the Browns haven't scored 20 points in a while.
I know. Look, I didn't say they would win.
No, I know.
I said that if it's a pinball game, you're losing.
Yes,
period. Your only hope is to possess the ball and hold the Lions to under 3 scores. So around 20 points.
They would need a turnover. They would have to get a turnover that would be in their own territory, and they need one explosive play. Like if you get a Jerry Jeudy 70. See, that's the thing about the offense. The offense, I don't think, and people say sustain the ball a long period of time. Well, that's what the league wants you to do. They want you to continue to move the ball because in 12 plays, how many times are you going to have clean play in 12 plays? Right. It's holdings, pass interferences, legal motions. Something's going to stop your drive, right? So if you get Jerry Jeudy or Quinshon Judkins to break a 60-yard touchdown, now I don't got to move the ball all that much. If I only get 40, 50 more yards of offense, as long as I got that 7 on the board and I got a turnover, I can work with that. But if it's methodical and it's ball control and they don't have no explosive plays, it's going to be an uphill battle because the other team can do that.
I picked them to score 20 this week.
Did?
Yeah, on Fence Riders yesterday. I think I picked them.
You did, yes.
Yeah,
I did too.
I think they get to 20.
Yep.
So
what
you
was
saying
the one that we were shocked that Jason picked in Fence Riders?
That Miles wouldn't get a sack.
Nah, that was the one?
He was the lone no.
I
in that
don't think
question.
I was
It was
shocked by
another
that.
one.
There was another one I was shocked that Jason had picked. I don't
Probably
know
20
what it was.
points, no?
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
surprised you guys, anyone else went with it. The only reason I said no to Miles is just because I think, Detroit's got a good line. I think you're going to get the ball out fast. It's nothing against Miles. I think they're quick game.
They're also very well balanced.
Yeah. So they're going to run it well, and I just think head on a swivel, and the ball's going to be out like that.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting because obviously the Browns have done a great job against the run so far. Now, this is the first team you're facing that has, I was going to say that has a dual threat in the backfield, but that's not true.
Baltimore did.
Because Baltimore does. But
they the weird thing is they contained it.
right, they didn't do anything, Baltimore. on the
No,
ground.
their run game was almost non-existent
Yeah.
against the Browns.
This may sound crazy. If the highest version of Kevin Stefanski's offense that I would love is the Detroit Lions. Like if you say, "Oh, what's the highest version of that?" That's what I envision.
Honestly, I think the highest version of Stefanski's offense is prime 49ers, peak 49ers. That's what they're trying to get to. That's what they've been trying to get to.
I think that would
sometimes
be
more
enough.
successful than others.
That would be enough for me.
But that's what they're trying to. That's
I
what
mean,
they're
the
trying to
Lions
go
do a
with
ton
this.
of pre-snap motion, which the Browns don't do.
I love the fact they got pre-snap motion. They're creative getting the tight end of football. They got 2 receivers one can spread the field, one can work underneath. Thunder and lightning, great offensive line. Play action. I love it. There it goes. That's my football.
Kevin doesn't quite have the go for it rate that I don't know that anybody does. Dan Campbell. Dan's just like
Dan
we're
Quinn
going.
in Washington.
the Browns
is one of the
go-
quarterbacks.
Is he
Last year they were second. They were the only 2 teams above 20 and 4th down.
Yeah,
attempts last year.
Stefanski goes for it all the time.
he does. I said
it's one of my favorite things about him.
He's got some go for it to him.
I would never punt
But-
if I were a head coach.
Yeah, I would very rarely.
almost
4th and 18 from
No,
your own
not
12.
never, but almost never.
There was we had them on Cold Pizza many years ago. There was a high school team that
Never punted.
onside. They never punted and they
Right.
onside kicked every time, and they were like
Yeah.
9-0.
Yeah.
But by the time we
That's
caught on to
corny.
the story and I had the coach on, and he was hilarious. He's like, nope. I would give him
Yeah.
situations. Nope, go for it.
I see
Go,
teams-
it's high school football.
I
Go
see
for
teams punting from the other side of the field, and I'm like, what is happening here? This is crazy.
That used to happen all the time 20 years ago.
It's
it. Oh,
ridiculous.
5 years ago.
Yeah, well,
Nah,
Like,
I don't know,
more than
5.
that.
It was shocking to me when a team would bring out their punter and they've got the ball in plus territory.
I mean, how many times
it just
have
doesn't
we
happen.
seen it? You're at the 47 or the 48, the plus 47 or 48, and the team takes a 5-yard penalty intentionally to back up to try and give the punter more room.
give him more room
Like
for the
that's how
corner.
That's how they.
It's nuts. A lot of it depends on your quarterback,
It's a
too. That's what we're
different sport.
going
Yeah.
with our next topic. It's brought to us by DoorDash. It's almost the weekend, guys. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash, just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Quinshon Judkins is our delivery player of the week for his 4th quarter heroics, scoring the touchdown, breaking those 2 long runs. He was incredible in the Browns win, and we're going to talk a little bit more about him in the WKYC show coming up in a few minutes. Just like Quinshon delivered for the Browns, DoorDash delivers for your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms do apply. The promo period runs through November 18th. All right, guys, we have seen the ups and downs of Joe Flacco already this season. He played relatively solid game against Cincinnati in the opener, and he has not been, frankly, very good in the next 2 games. Jason, against Detroit's secondary and defense, which has been a little susceptible this year. What version of Flacco do you think we'll see from the Browns on Sunday?
I don't think he can be worse than he's been. Honestly, like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I think we've seen the bottom. And, I've heard lately, like, well, he didn't get a ton of reps in the preseason because they were having a 4-way quarterback battle. Well, we were told you didn't need a ton of reps.
That's right.
So which is it? But I do think that there's a factor of trying to get into the groove, trying to get in rhythm. Well, we're enough into the season now that should no longer be a factor. So I don't think he'll play worse. I think what we saw in Baltimore is probably as poorly as Joe Flacco can play. And I
Did
thought,
he play worse than Green Bay?
No. I mean, I don't know what the numbers say.
Yeah.
Being there, seeing both games,
Okay.
Baltimore was far worse than I thought
Okay.
than Green Bay. And statistically, at some of the advanced numbers, the Baltimore game was one of the top 10 worst performances of his career. So
It's going the wrong direction.
yeah. So I don't think it will be that bad. I do think we're inching closer and closer to Dylan Gabriel. I wonder if we see him Sunday. I wouldn't totally rule it out. That's just me. No one said anything. That's just, I think we're sort of headed to that territory. So, look, they got to protect him. They got to get better tackle play. And the line's been abysmal, but the primary triage area right now is the tackles. So if they can get competent tackle play and give him just a half second longer, it's going to help. So I'm not expecting much, but I think we've seen the worst. I don't think it can get worse than what we've seen.
I hope you're right on that. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid there could be worse football from them.
Baltimore knows him better than anybody. Baltimore, to
they
me,
do.
that was
They do.
that was
That was hard to
abysmal.
look at.
That was
that was really hard to
football.
look at. I hope you're right. I hope that's as low as it goes. For me, and I'll tie into your second comment too, because that's where I was going to go with this. What's the offensive line going to do?
Yeah.
That will tell us what happens. If the offensive line performs like they did last week, we're going to get another similar performance. He's slow. He can't move. He's a sitting duck back there. So if you add that with 2.5 seconds to throw, you've got a train wreck. But if the offensive line is a little bit better, by the way, Aiden Hutchinson is going to get after it. He's coming.
Yeah.
Because when these guys play a combo bad line, slow quarterback like this, they're salivating coming out of the tunnel. He's thinking, oh, I could pad my stats today. I could get 3. So they're coming. And it all depends on the offensive line. If they give him, if you see Joe able to set his feet in the backfield and look off through his progression of receivers, I think he could be effective. If he's moving the entire time he has the football, it's going to be awful.
I said this. I think I said this last week. I don't think it was Monday, but it's worth repeating when we talk offensive line. I do think a little bit more mobile quarterback makes the offensive line look not as bad.
1,000%.
And we saw that last year when everyone was screaming about the offensive line with Deshaun, and as soon as Jameis went in there, all the complaints about the offensive line went away. Nobody talked about it anymore.
And it's not like Jameis is a rabbit.
But he was where he was supposed to be,
move.
and the ball was coming out.
Yes.
And it's like, it's the little, and I'm not saying this with Joe, it was last year. Like, the offensive line is their back to the quarterback. You have to stand where you're supposed to be standing to set up the protections. Gee, you know that better than anybody. If the quarterback isn't where he's supposed to be, the offensive lineman turns around and goes, and you gave up a sack, and you're like, well, dude, why are you there? You weren't supposed to be there.
Right.
And that was a lot of the problems they were running into last year, and just Joe's immobility. I'm not saying he's in the wrong spot this year, just his immobility is really a factor in this. So if you get a quarterback that can move a little bit, it's going to make the line play look not elite necessarily, but it's going to look better.
Watch the Cardinals game. Anybody watch the game last night?
Very little, just a little bit.
I watched the second half, and it was amazing to me. I watched enough of the second half to know that Kyler Murray looked like he was dead in the water. Dead. And they scored 2 late touchdowns, got a field goal, and won the game.
Yeah.
It was an incredible comeback. And so I was asking myself, okay, well, what changed? Well, what changed was a sense of urgency that the offense absolutely had to convert. And I think that always makes a difference. That's why
Seattle still won.
Yeah, Seattle did win. I'm sorry,
Right.
but
They made it a game.
The comeback
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what am I looking at here?
Right,
Because
right, yeah.
their offense was non-existent, and then all of a sudden they had 2 really nice drives.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison had like 1
Back
catch
from the dead.
over 3 quarters. Had a great second half, but during those 2 touchdown drives, I just kept saying, okay, what's different? Well, Kyler Murray was moving, and that's a guy that can move. And all of a sudden, the pass rush was ineffective. They were still getting home, but they weren't getting to him because he was sliding, taking a step, moving in the pocket, buying more time, throwing on the run. And the next thing you know, touchdown drive, game is tied. And that looked completely unthinkable just in the first 3.5 quarters.
Well, it's tough because I just go back to this. There's at some point the Cleveland Browns have to understand there have been multiple teams that have come to this conclusion quicker than you have. The Baltimore Ravens came to that conclusion. The New York Jets came to that conclusion. The Denver Broncos came to that conclusion. Oh, by the way, the Indianapolis Colts came to that conclusion.
You yourself came to that conclusion 2 years ago.
So you done came to all those conclusions, and then you ran it back, and then now you trying to say, can it get worse? Yes, it can get worse. Here's how it can get worse. He can throw more interceptions. We've seen the 3. So that and Kevin Stefanski knows it can get worse because that is why he's checking the football down at an alarming rate. The reality of the situation is Cornelius Lucas, I went back yesterday just to take a look at it. He can't bend. Guys are even with him before he gets out of his stance. But he's, 34?
35.
35?
I think, 34.
35. He's a backup swing tackle. If he's playing right now for you, you're in trouble. The other tackle graded out at a 14% in pass rush, right? Then there's times where you're trying to keep Dylan Sampson in to block with him, and 2 guys could not block. They couldn't. 2 guys was on Micah Parsons, and they didn't touch him. It was nasty work. So you got a recipe for a bunch of trouble. When you don't have tackles, your quarterback is slow. He has a propensity to throw interceptions. And by the way, he hasn't been accurate this year. That's why I keep continuously always say, at some point, you can't coach play in your fears, and I get it. There's this thing about rookies not being ready and all this other stuff. Listen, it's malpractice to keep running somebody out there that you know is not good just because you don't want to go to an alternative. These guys are on a team for a reason. Give yourself an opportunity. Have confidence in your coaching ability to get them ready. Have confidence in the people you drafted and play them. Because this is not tenable. You're just doing this just to what? I don't understand. At this point, I've even lost all of the fire about it. It's just, to me, at this point, it's confusing why people would say he gives you the best chance, Bull. I don't know.
Bernie was on with us yesterday, and Bernie said that he wouldn't play Dylan Gabriel because the talent around him on the offense is so bad that he thinks Dylan Gabriel would have no chance. And he's probably right. Bernie would know better than anybody. Part of me is like, well, who cares? Let's see it anyway. Because
YOLO.
Because think about this, right?
Yeah.
How great is the talent going to get from the end of this year to next year when you do get a rookie who's going to play?
But either way, if you're going to play Dylan Gabriel in week 6,
it ain't get no better.
The talent's still going to stink around him.
It could be worse. You could have more injuries by
exactly.
then.
Thank you.
Maybe Jack Conklin would be back by then, so maybe it'll be a little better on the offensive line.
Any word on that, Jay?
Only that I knew it was going to be multiple weeks.
Right.
Maybe next week.
Maybe.
And with Dylan Gabriel, the right tackle is actually more important because he's a lefty.
Sure.
So maybe that would help, I guess. But, what happens if by the time they're ready to play him that Jerry Jeudy's hurt or Quinshon Judkins is hurt, or they suspend Quinshon Judkins out of the blue? I
think fans are results oriented. W or L.
Yeah.
That's where it starts. And then you look at production. I do think that our fans are, I hope, smart enough to understand that if you think you're going to drop Dylan Gabriel in there and we're going to look like a playoff team all of a sudden offensively, that is an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
Could it happen? Sure it could. The Guardians just ripped off the most unbelievable comeback in sports history. That's why we watch sports, because we never know. But the likelihood, and that's why I say, please temper your expectations. The likelihood that you take Joe out and drop Dylan in and all of a sudden all your ills are fixed, that's not happening.
No, there's almost no chance of that happening. But I think as a fan, you'd rather see the unknown
than
the guy you're like, okay, it's just like
What you're
we
doing
know
isn't
what this
working.
looks
Yeah,
like.
it's not working.
What
He's
might
old.
this look like?
Let's see it.
And
Maybe it will be that 1% chance.
In 20, when they made that move early out of necessity with Baker, we all got the fever. We all saw it. We were like, oh gosh, we haven't had quarterback play like that. I remember that first game against the Jets.
Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football?
I think it was
Can't remember.
Thursday night.
Yeah.
Thursday.
I have been in the stadium for a lot of great and amazing things, but the buzz leaving that stadium
Oh, yeah. I
was
felt
like
it.
you had just woke up someone that was sleeping for 30 years.
Yeah.
And they suddenly thought, we have a chance again. Now, could that happen with Dylan Gabriel? It could. It happened. We saw it with Baker. Is it unlikely? I think it's more unlikely than not.
One was the
Way
number
more
one pick,
unlikely.
and one was the third round.
That's
Way
why,
more unlikely
That's why
than
it's
not.
way more unlikely.
I would give it a-
But here's the thing. I'm not ready to completely say, oh, no, it can't happen, because I just watched something happen in baseball that's never happened before.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we love sports. We
Yeah.
go to a game, and there's a chance we're going to see something that's never happened before, and that might happen with Dylan Gabriel.
Guys, in sports, you have to. I don't think people understand this. Like, you don't get anything by conservative. That's not how sports works. It's annoying because you have to expect the extraordinary to win every single week. You have to have a level of faith in your process and what you are doing to be able to win at the highest levels. And if you want to win at the highest levels, it's not getting somebody else's retread quarterback that's 41 and just starting them and being like, that's good enough for us. Why is that good enough for you? It wasn't good enough for the Colts. The Colts could have did exactly what we did, right? Anthony Richardson, watch this. Anthony Richardson was a first-round pick. If he was in Cleveland, they would still be playing him. You know why? Because he was a first-round pick. But guess what the Colts did? The Colts said, you are a first-round pick, but you look like you done digressed. That hit in the preseason, they said, you don't even know how to read defenses. So here's what we're going to do. We already tried to replace you once with Joe. We brought him in. We figured out he was cooked. We brought Daniel Jones in. We got him. We going to cook with him.
Now, in fairness, you could argue he's a retread also,
But
just not as old.
But
he's playing well. We'll
think
see if
about
it lasts. But
him as a retread, he's
Yeah.
faster. Listen, he's more mobile. He can do a bunch of things that Joe Flacco can.
That's true.
Right? So
Wait a minute. If last year I gave you the choice between Daniel Jones or Joe Flacco to come here, everybody on this panel would have taken Joe Flacco.
Yes.
Watch this.
Yes.
Watch this. Here's
That's
the
true.
thing.
I don't know that I would have. But
I would not have.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
want him back.
That could be necessarily true, right? But once you find out what Joe is, it's time to go. I ain't got no time to be half-stepping and playing. You saw 3 games. You saw what it was. This idea that Joe deserves this long leash, that he's going to, if the Browns win games that they wasn't supposed to win because the defense is great, Joe's out there for 6-7 more weeks. What is that? No. That ain't going to work for you.
No, he won't play 6 or 7 more weeks. Beyond this, no.
So we was on the show. I said, listen, I know how Stefanski is. Stefanski is a very calculated. He calculated. If Stefanski does not really want to move to the rookies, he's going to find a reason not to move to the rookies. If, say, for instance, the Browns upset the Lions, now that means they done beat the Lions and the Packers. Mm-hmm. That means to me, you're not seeing no rookie play until dang near week 9 or 10.
I would second that.
Well, I think you kind of have to ride it out at that point.
At that point,
I mean, if
ride-
you beat the Packers and Lions in back-to-back weeks and the Lions on the road,
and you were
that means you're
you were a
getting something
missed
out
kick
of your
from
offense.
beating Cincinnati.
So
Yeah,
you're
you're almost 3-1 at that
You're
point.
not seeing nobody. You talk about week 10, 12, if that. So that's the point. The point is,
Good. That's a better problem to have. Let's win.
if you take those, here's the thing. What did they tell us it was about though, Jason?
what did Jason tell us?
It was
And he's
tell
right.
us about
It's about next year.
next year.
Exploratory season. We got to find out what we have.
yeah.
However, if there's winning happening, I mean, it's just
You can't
change a quarterback when you're winning.
Let's keep it real here. All right? The Browns, right or wrong, they're already convinced that they have to get a quarterback next year, that they don't have the
I
insurance.
agree with you, Bull.
Now,
I agree.
doesn't mean they're right, but that's
No,
what they feel.
in their mind, they believe that their quarterback of the future is not on this.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, not at all.
That's the way I see it.
yeah, that's definitely true.
I think I told you this. I think I texted it to you because everyone's like, well, these quarterbacks suck. This quarterback class sucks. Where's the quarterback? Where's the quarterback? Where's the quarterback? no one has told me this directly. I just get the sense and the feeling there is, because I agree. Like so far, you don't look at this quarterback class as this
No
is
one
going
has
to be an
separated
all-time
themselves
historic
for
class.
sure.
So to that, I say number one, it's early.
September.
And number two, I just get the sense being around them that they have one or two guys that they like. I don't know who they are. I'm not going to know who they are. I'm never going to find out
They
who
won't
they are.
say it.
And
No,
it
of
doesn't
course
mean they're
not.
right
No.
about it.
It doesn't mean they're right about it. But
Yeah.
I just get the sense. And the other thing I told you is you just don't know. You never know what they're looking for in the NFL. It's not what we see.
No.
It's not what we're looking for. No. And the point I made to you, people are going to freak out. Nobody was talking about Josh Allen when he was at Wyoming in September of his senior. And I'm not saying there's a Josh Allen in this draft. I'm not saying that.
No, I know where
what
you're
I'm
going,
saying
though. You're
is-
right. He emerged late.
And there are traits that these teams look for in quarterbacks that the average college football fan watching on Saturday isn't seeing those guys or isn't seeing those traits. And I don't know who they are. I just get this, and I don't know what. I assume it's this
What
class.
year's the Indiana kid?
He's a senior.
He's
Okay.
eligible. He's eligible.
I've heard his name being mentioned as a guy that, again, could have the NFL skill set. Maybe he's their guy.
I have no idea. I just get the sense, and again, no one has said this directly. It's just sort of a feel of knowing how they operate and being around certain people. I just think that they've got one or two people that they've got their eye on. I don't know who it is. I don't know when. And who's to say that doesn't change? Like, it's September. By November, whoever they think they like, they may not like anymore.
And we will never know.
And you'll never know.
Never know.
Right.
All right, guys, let's get on to our last topic of this YouTube show. Today's show is brought to you by Square, your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar who's packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world, including a number in Cleveland. You can go to square.com/go/LockedOnNFL to learn more. But before you do, you can go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square will see you in the neighborhood.
Quickly, I mentioned the Indiana quarterback, Mendoza. He has emerged as the Heisman, one of the Heisman candidates. I hadn't really looked at his numbers, but after looking at him now, and I know it's through a couple of games, they've only played one real team, but he's completing 77% of his passes, 14 touchdowns, no interceptions.
I saw a little bit of their game the other night.
They
last
destroyed
week.
Illinois.
Yes.
So
Picked him apart. Yeah. So maybe that's a guy.
I don't know.
Because I think you're right. Teams don't start really honing in on a guy in April before the draft or in December.
No,
they
do this
find
work
their guys
years
a
in
year
advance.
ahead. Yeah,
Yes.
they're always at least 1 year ahead. And maybe he's a guy that they recognized. And Indiana could have a real good. They're already having a good season. They could have a real good season here. Maybe he would be the guy.
Until they play the Buckeyes and lose by 40.
I don't think they don't play Ohio State this year, do they?
not sure. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
But-
I don't think.
All right,
Big
guys.
Ten
I got
championship,
Well, it could come to that. Yeah.
I got a 5-pack of stats that I think you guys need to know for this weekend's game against the Detroit Lions. 2 of the stats we talked about last week, by the way, came to exact fruition as how the game played out. So hopefully we can do a little predictive nature with these ones as well. The first stat you need to know is pressure, pressure, and pressure. Against Green Bay, the Browns had 22 pressures. Jordan Love was pressured on 45.2% of his dropbacks. That's the highest of his career. Now that translates into this game because Jared Goff is 2 completely different quarterbacks versus pressure versus not being pressured. You could say this about a lot of quarterbacks, but very few have the dramatic difference between their QBR, which encapsulates everything, when they're pressured versus when they're clean. When Goff's been kept clean in the pocket, he is the number 2 QBR in the entire NFL through 3 games. When he's been pressured, that QBR drops to 26th. That 24 drop, small sample size, 3 games, I understand, is the biggest differential between any quarterback in football this season. So if you're the Browns, got to get pressure, especially with that front 4.
That's an interesting stat, and it is telling. Yes, most quarterbacks are going to be worse under pressure, but the fact that he's second and 26th, that's massive
incredible.
difference.
Yeah.
So that is important, and obviously the Browns, as you know, we recognized by last week, got a lot of pressure. Really, I mean, this is the toughest challenge the Browns have faced in terms of an offensive line, and so it'll be fascinating to see who can win those battles in the trenches because you got 2 excellent units battling against each other.
that's where the game's going to be won and
Yeah.
lost, I think.
Yeah, sure.
When the Browns defense is on the field and how they stack up with that offensive line. Can we control the run game again? You know, we've got a two-headed monster back there and 2 running backs this time, not a quarterback and a running back.
The Browns will win 0 games this year when their D-line doesn't dominate. 0. Anybody want to disagree with that?
Dominate is a very tough word to say in the league. Like, dominate is like
Play well.
Play very well. All right.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
If they can't pressure Goff, they're gonna get smoked in this game.
When you got an offense like that is very varied on the way that they line up, the way that they run the ball, the way they use motion, the way they use play action and move in the line. It's difficult to just pin your ears back and run because there's so many things that you got to worry about. They got a good screen game with Jahmyr Gibbs. They can throw the ball out quick screens to Jamison Williams. They run between the tackles. They can run zone. They do a lot of things where it keeps defensive linemen thinking, like, I can't just run upfield and get after the quarterback because there's some other things I got to honor. So it's a tough matchup. The Browns are a great front. I'm interested to see how they'll handle themselves against this front in offensive line versus defensive line, but it's a tough battle for a reason, right? They're at home. That's why I'm going to get a chance to see just how good they is this game, right?
Hey, Mike, one more time. Second in a clean pocket. What was it? What was
26th.
26th.
I'd be curious to know who's number 1 under pressure. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll pull it up.
Oh, do you have it that quickly? I was
It's just the
filibuster for a
rankings of the
sec, I'll pull it
quarterbacks
up,
under
yeah.
pressure.
The
I'm
top
just
3 or
noticing
5.
the mic in the corner there with the Nuggets.
We had to make it a little more.
I like that.
But just keep filibustering for
Who
one
would
second.
you think it would be?
Lamar.
I would say Lamar.
It's
Josh
in
Allen, I
general,
think,
but
Mahomes, Lamar.
because it's only 3 games, it's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
skewed.
no, you're right.
yeah,
I
it
guess
is-
it
it
would
is
be
gonna be
more
skewed.
like last year or the last couple of years.
Right.
I would
be.
think the usual suspects. Normally Patrick, but boy, he's been really bad under
Yeah.
pressure this year. But to me, Lamar and Josh would be your likely suspects. I think they'd be pretty
It's
high.
probably
up the list.
some name you'd never Baker
Right.
or something that you wouldn't.
Listen, he's been great in late
Yeah, I
game
know.
situations
I know.
this year.
Yeah.
Like that was the bugaboo with him here.
Absolutely.
he couldn't win in the fourth quarter. In fact, he usually threw the interception that
He usually
sunk
cost
the ship.
him, yeah.
And now it's like they get into a fourth quarter situation, and everybody on the team.
Yep.
I watched some clips of
got your answer,
Bucks
Jason.
interviews this week, and they were like, "We're comfortable down a score late in the game." With
I
Baker."
wonder-
and that
this-
would never have been said here.
This will be interesting for them this week. Mike Evans is out for a while, and they're playing Philly. It'll be interesting to see how they
And
go.
Godwin's still out.
What do you got, Mike?
Yeah.
So this is, according to PFF, this is a quarterback's EPA per dropback based on where they start versus under pressure. Only 2 quarterbacks last year. I'm not taking this year. Too small a sample size.
Okay.
Only 2 quarterbacks in football had a better EPA per dropback under pressure than in a clean pocket. You
This
wanna
is
guess the
last
2?
year?
This is last
Yeah.
year. And this should not be a surprise.
Allen and
Lamar
Lamar.
and Josh.
Yep, the only 2 in football with a better
Okay.
EPA under pressure.
Better
I know
under
you said
pressure.
small sample size this year, but are they? Who's the top 3 this year? Are they even
I
near
have
it?
to sort it player
Oh,
by
okay.
player, team by team.
Yeah,
I found a
that's not
chart
worth
that
it.
they put out of last year.
That's not worth it. then.
But it's interesting. After that, then it goes into the negatives. Who had the third, even though it's a negative differential, the third
best.
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
differential
Right.
is Baker.
There you go.
Go
I
figure.
wouldn't be surprised by that.
Some guys who were not good: Geno Smith, C.J. Stroud, Daniel Jones, and last year Jared Goff once again in the bottom 5. Or I
CJ
guess 6.
surprises me, although I guess he wasn't great last year. That surprises me a little bit. I thought he'd be.
Yeah, he took a real step back
Better.
and hasn't taken a step
Yeah,
in the
it's-
right direction.
I
this
still
year.
believe in him.
I
do too.
I believe.
I
in that
believe.
guy.
I believe he'd be
I take
okay.
him.
Yeah.
I take him.
But there
I
has
get picks
definitely
up
been
on him.
that we saw the sophomore slump, and even more so, I think we're seeing. Sometimes they just hit a wall that
Yeah.
they can't knock over.
I'm taking him, golf, whatever. Give me anybody.
Well, I have a Flacco under pressure stat coming, so we'll get to that in a
Joe
second.
Flacco's having a
Oh, it's got to be terrible.
senior drop off.
When we talk about the Browns pass
Senior
rush, we
slump.
always give Myles Garrett the most credit, and it's 100%
senior
deserved.
drop-off.
He's the head of the snake when it comes to the pass rush. But so far this year, it hasn't just been Myles. The entire Browns defensive line has been awesome. Look at their pass rush win rates against Green Bay from last week. Myles
Mason Graham,
46,
43.
which was awesome. Mason Graham was at 43. Seth Walder of ESPN pointed out that the average pass rush win rate for a defensive tackle is 9%. Against Green Bay, Mason Graham was up to 43.
That's unbelievable.
Malik Collins at 33%. And I want to give Tyvis a shout out. Speaking of Malik Collins, you see this graphic on the screen right here? These are through week 3. This does not include last night's game. The highest pass rush win rates among all interior defensive linemen in football.
Wow.
Look at that. You have 3 defensive tackles on that list who have been all pros before. Dexter Lawrence, arguably the best defensive tackle in football. Matabike, Pro Bowler last year. Simmons has been incredible in Tennessee. Osa
That's
Ogunjigba
amazing.
has been good. None of them have been better at generating pressure from the interior than Malik Collins this season through 3 games. So just wanted to give Tyvis a shout out. It's not just Myles Garrett. That whole defensive line's been awesome.
Nah. We're going to have to strip that metal bull. Get it ready. I was surprised you didn't strip this earlier.
Why?
Those pass rush win rates look beautiful. But I'd like to know what the pass rush win rate is when you get 101s every play. When you are catching 101s with a guard and you're a defensive lineman, there was a play, there's multiple plays, where this man has 3 dudes on him. 3. Bull said something the other day, and I'm not stripping your medals because I think Malik Collins is a good player. I like what Mason Graham is doing. But it's almost like being like, hey, man, you get a lot of open shots when LeBron is playing. Of course
That's right.
you are. All you got to do is sit right in that corner, and you don't move, JR, Shumpert, and hang out. Myles Garrett be having, now it goes to 2. I saw a tight end in this game straight up just have Myles Garrett. They're like, it's you guys double teaming. You have no routes. There's no chip and release. You have him.
I know, but I think the difference is it's been that way for years with the Browns.
Nah,
I mean,
I ain't seen no 3.
he
Right,
leads the league every year in double teams.
Yeah, Malik Collins has done a better job than
Than our
the
other
tackles,
guys.
and
Yes.
so is Mason Graham.
Yes.
Yes.
But G's still right. Part of
Yeah.
the reason for their success is because of Myles
Right,
Garrett.
and what
is so
I'm pointing
dominant.
out is
LeBron
it's
played
been
with a
that
lot
way
of guys
for
who
years
couldn't make that
here.
open shot.
Right,
It's been that way for years here, and nobody else was willing
Right,
to
agreed.
eat like he is. So he gets credit for this. He's finally taken advantage of what all the guys previous to him did not take advantage of.
If you
That's
are
right.
getting single, and it's a different mindset, right? They shuffled through a lot of different people and figured it out. But when you got the dude over there, he's telling them too, hey, listen, you're supposed to be killing. You got to eat. If it's just, and I've never heard this to myself. Listen, the Packers said this, and I was baffled. When he said there's a list of plays that I'm not even going to run,
Yeah, no 95 on the field plays.
I'm like, bro, that's half. What do you mean? That's 2 different game plans.
Well, it's like what I said on Monday. I remember when offenses used to say, "Okay, we're not throwing to Deion side.
Yeah,
we're just not
nothing.
we're not doing it."
It's
And
just
that
not-
was rare then because these guys all have egos.
Right.
They're like, "Okay, fine, mano a mano. Your best versus our best." Deion was so good, they were just like, "Yep, nope, not throwing on that side."
Can't run the
so that
plays.
cut the field in half.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Myles Garrett, and I don't think Green Bay is dumb for doing that. By the way, when
It
Myles
almost
is
worked.
not on the field, they should have a list of plays that let's go eat because he's on the sidelines. Every team should do that.
Now, granted, McNuggets, I'm gonna give Mason Graham credit. Hey, you get the 1-on-1, take advantage of it. I'd rather you have 43 than 12.
Right.
Give me the
And 12
43.
still above average.
It's
What
still
were the
12,
Browns?
right?
What were the rest of the Browns' pass rush win rates last year, Mike? Is that easy to find?
Oh God!
I'd have to dive deep into that, but I can get you the answer.
We'll do
During
it.
the-
I feel it.
Without
I feel it
Without
went
looking,
good.
I'll tell
I feel
you,
it went
not
nice.
good.
Probably not good.
The eye test, not good.
I'll tell you, Myles Garrett was good. No one else on the defensive line really stepped up. All right, next stat, though. We're going to flip the script here. We talked about the Browns pressuring the Lions. Well, this is the opposite of that. The Browns' offensive line this year, according to ESPN's pass blocking and run blocking win rates, tell a story of 2 tales. Their league average in run block win rate. They are 29th in pass block win rate. We talked about Jared Goff having the 26th worst PFF grade against pressure. Well, Flacco's QBR this season under pressure is literally 3.3.
Is that possible?
Is that the worst? That's got to be the worst,
It
right?
is dead last in the NFL by a large margin.
Oh my God!
What's the
And
next
we
one?
talked
Well,
about
you take the worst line and the slowest quarterback.
we talked about the Browns
get?
having 22 pressures against the Packers. Against Lamar last week, the Lions had 30 pressures and 7 sacks.
Uh-oh.
So it's a defensive line that can get after
Uh-oh.
it.
They sacked
Against
Lamar 7 times.
7 sacks on Monday.
Lamar took a lot of crazy
Holy moly.
sacks too. He just a couple times just ran directly in the other direction, thinking that he would eventually get out of it, and he didn't.
Wow.
The ends for Detroit are deceptively fast because Lamar has made a lot of those guys that ended up getting him down on Monday look silly in the past for trying to chase him down.
Absolutely.
And they got him, so.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead, Bull.
Did I miss something?
Point this out. Hey,
No.
Listen, he said, listen.
G knows why I'm laughing.
Because Aiden Hutchinson's white?
Yeah, they're deceptively fast. No, he's pretty fast. He's just fast. Yeah.
You don't need to say deceptive.
In other words, he's white, so you don't think he's fast.
Anybody
Well, I'm
who's-
just saying deceptively
who's
fast to
fast
catch
and white, it has to be
catch
deceptive.
It's
Lamar.
like the fast wide receiver that's white.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Those guys are always the
Lad
hardest
Lad
workers.
McConkey is.
You know what
pretty
else I
fast.
heard about it?
First
You know what
in,
else I
last
heard?
out.
Great route runners.
Real gritty.
Great
Heady.
route runners.
First guy in, last guy out. Did you say that?
Yeah.
I did, yeah. First guy in. Belichick loves him.
Man, listen, man. Just
Special teams works his butt off.
Just intangibles,
Has anybody destroyed
man.
his reputation more at the end of his career than Bill Belichick?
No, I've never seen it. It's a great point, Bull.
OJ.
Well,
Yeah, that's the winner.
This is how.
That's the
Yo,
no,
that's it.
I think what he's not talking about his human reputation.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about his.
Jason, that's the line
I
of
had
the
to
day.
shake your. Yes,
It is.
that's the
But-
greatest fall from grace we've ever seen.
To Bull's question,
Bill
like
Cosby.
As a coach or as a player, no, and that's saying something because
Yeah.
a lot of guys hang on way too
Yeah.
long, way too
He looks
long.
like a doddering old
There
fool
is
at this point.
there was somebody sent me a video. This is sick. If you really want to get a good laugh, Google David Lee Roth concert. This dude's still out there doing concerts, okay? And someone sent me this clip this morning, and I swear to you, I thought it was fake. I'm like, that's not real. He's wearing really tight black leather pants, and he looks like a senior citizen. He is.
Yeah.
But all I could think of in my mind was Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Bill on Tuesday nights.
And how hard it is to watch
tight leather pants.
the GOAT. And he's down there, and this
And
is
the
probably bad
girlfriend's
to
on the
say.
field with him.
Those are the clips that are most infuriating to me because this was a guy who tolerated. He didn't want players having relationships.
But listen,
He didn't want girlfriends. He didn't want wives. You never ever would bring
So-
up a girlfriend or a wife.
Right.
And now his girlfriend is on the.
So let me.
I know.
Let me just show you.
She's one of the cheerleaders, I think.
Let
now.
me show you. How old is
No,
Bill?
but she almost is.
72?
So,
Excuse me.
so Bill is
72, right?
Bill is 72.
He could be older than
Yeah.
Bill is
72 or
72.
73. It's one of those. Start looking up.
So let me just give you a perspective.
Yeah. Dating the girl at Young's disgusting.
When you
73, by the way.
when you oh yeah,
I
when
just
you
give him too much credit.
I mean, when you 73,
She's like 23.
24.
You 73. There's a.
He was 51 when she was born.
It's a level where you cross, and that commercial where you say you turn into your parents.
Yeah, I love those commercials.
Those
Oh, they're
commercials
great.
are
They're great.
factual. You literally, as the eldest son, have to start doing things. I told mom, "Hey, Dad can't drive after a certain time at night. I put the restrictions on. Hey,
You dropped that hammer
yeah,
already.
you can't. He can't drive at night like
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
You daytime driving. Going different places. Be like, hey, listen, you know your volume is kind of high. My mom's volume got high because she can't hear in one ear.
Yeah.
My dad's volume got lower because he can't see in one eye. So when you doing all this, they only 70. My mom's 68. He's 70. Bill Belichick is out here trying to coach up young men with his girlfriend on the sideline. At this point, he's supposed to be tucked away drinking warm coffee and milk. He's supposed to be somebody. Listen, there's people that be like literally almost be having to go to the retirement home in Florida and Fort Lauderdale. He ain't got no business coaching out there.
Real quick, the best, this is not hyperbole to me, the best Saturday Night Live sketch I've ever seen, Meet Your Future Wife. Just YouTube it. It
How
is
old was it?
unbelievable. It was the Polar era.
Okay.
So not that old. And it's like,
The Polar era?
I forgot her
Amy
name.
Poehler?
Amy
Poehler.
Poehler, yeah. It was her and the brunette. I forgot her name.
Yeah,
They were the
Tina
co-hosts.
Fey.
I'll just give you a little.
They're funny together.
It is the best sketch I've ever seen on Saturday Night Live, where they have this man and his wife is in the audience, and they say, well, you're going to die in a fire, and here's his future wife, and a 5-year-old walks out.
Oh wow!
It is,
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you,
That's
is
crazy.
Well, by the time Bill was 51
Well,
when she
if
was
he's
born.
49, right? Because if she's 24, he's 73, but still, I
It's
mean, whatever.
disgusting.
Yeah.
It's gross.
How old
I mean,
is-
I'm
wait,
49 right now.
She's 70. He's 73.
Yeah, and
She's
she's 24. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 49.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay,
Some say he went out like a G. he went out. He was like, listen. I done wasted a lot of time, but I'm going to make this one count.
If that were my daughter, I'm taking it back to Belichick.
Well, let's not advocate that kind of stuff.
All right, next stat you guys got to know for Sunday to avoid
We should.
any issues.
Take my 24-year-old
And that
daughter.
was the episode
I'll
of
just thank God I don't
Sopranos.
have daughters.
Thank you,
Stat
Tony.
number 4, guys. We're going to talk a little more about Quinshawn and the TV show. These are some stats that will help give a little context to the conversation we are going to have. The Browns ranked 29th in the NFL this season in yards before contact per rush. All these stats come from ESPN's Next Gen Stats. Actually, I think it's Amazon's Next Gen Stats. The NFL powers that. They're averaging 0.57 yards before their runner gets contacted. However, they're ranked 6th in the NFL in yards after contact at 3.43. And Quinshawn Judkins, despite playing in just 2 games, qualifies with the amount of carries he has, ranks number 1 in the league in the amount of yards after contact per carry at 5.14. So the line not holding up. They're getting hit early. But it's not just been Judkins. He's been the majority of it. But both Sampson and Ford have done a pretty good job making the first guy miss and extending after that initial contact.
You know what's weird to me? And Garrett, maybe you can explain this. If they are league average in run block, how are they that bad at contact? They're 29, like one of the worst
15th
teams.
in run block win rate and 29th in
that
yards
doesn't make
before
sense to
contact.
me.
I wonder if one is subjective and the other is a finite number.
Maybe.
Because
That's true.
so here's the thing: you can win, like okay, I blocked this. I don't know what goes into win rate. Like,
Right. See, that's the thing.
Like I blocked,
10 guys
especially
might
for
grade
running.
the same
Because
player.
that's really, if you give me those numbers, that's actually an indictment on Judkins.
Yeah.
That you're getting hit
It
that
is.
early. If the run blocking is supposed to be league average, why are you getting hit so early?
Say for instance, you block a guy, but you don't get no movement downfield. So you block him, but he sheds you in 2 seconds and makes
Yeah.
a tackle.
do you win the block rate?
How do you,
like,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just
that's-
so subjective. That's
where
why I
you
always
are.
say,
Well,
with PFF,
plus-
I always, it's a grain of salt.
Another part of this also is that if you're playing the Browns right now, the only thing you're worried about is the run.
Is the run.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And so you might have extra guys up. So the offensive linemen might all win their blocks.
That's
and
actually a
the
good
sixth
point.
guy might come
Yeah.
up
Yeah,
and make the
that's-
first hit.
that's
They're
actually
running
a good
into a
point.
ton of, or they could be running into a ton of 8-man boxes.
And it's about to get nastier. Like if I'm a defensive coordinator, there is no way that I'm letting a rookie running back. You can stop the run. It's just numbers. It's just can you count to 10, right?
Yeah.
Like I could put more people up there. I could shoot gaps. We could do a lot of things to stop Quinshawn Judkins. So now
Maybe one of our receivers could get open if they did that.
well, there's a nice thought, Jay.
Yeah, so run.
But you're gonna have to do it in a way where they're not sitting on the stuff that they like to run, right? It's just football is a game of it's a very easy game, but there is some strategy to it. But it's just all about the numbers. So hopefully we'll see if he can still continue to break some of these runs with larger people and numbers in the box.
Imagine what he could do with a great run block line. Like, I do think we're sitting on something special here.
Oh, he's legit.
I think he's
Judkins
special.
is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last stat you guys got to know. When it is 3rd down and the Browns are on defense, Jared Goff is looking to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has 20 catches this season. 16 of those have gone for first down. So I was curious to say that's 75%. How does that rank, not just among the NFL, but going back
That's
throughout the rest of the
80%, Mike.
season? My math is wrong.
4 out of
80%.
5.
It's even better than I thought. When you look at his previous seasons, though, the number's higher, and you're going to see 75 on the graphic because my math is terrible. But imagine it said 80%.
Imagine if you will.
24, 23, and 22, he was at 63, 64% of his receptions. 73 of 115 and 24, 75 of 119 and 23, 68 of 196 and 22. Since 2021, going even the year before this, Amon-Ra has the most targets, the most receptions, and the most yardage on 3rd down, converting 3rd downs into first downs. There is no better, I don't say no better receiver. No receiver that gets more opportunities and no quarterback that looks to one individual receiver more on those money downs than Jared Goff does to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So on 3rd down, whether it's Denzel Ward, whether it's Greg Newsome, if
I
he's in
want
the
Denzel
slot,
on
which he
him
lines
every
up,
3rd down.
he lines up in a ton in the slot. On 3rd down,
Okay.
you know where the lines are looking.
I want 21 on Brown every 3rd down.
That ain't gonna happen.
That's not going to happen.
It won't, but I still want it.
What's particularly impressive about that is that he's been doing it for years,
Yeah,
and
it's
yet nobody can
consistent.
stop him.
Right. I think the 75 or 80 this year is
It's small sample size.
obviously
It's small,
small sample size.
right, but
he'll
still.
regress to the mean, which apparently is 63.5% or somewhere
Which
in
is
there.
pretty- which is
is great.
fantastic.
I mean, it's great, but
He's finished in the top 5 each of those 4 years, or he's in the top 5 and then 2021 in most first down receptions, targets, and when you add it all together over that 5-year span, like I said,
What a weapon.
Most yards, catches,
what a
and
weapon. When
targets.
you've got that reliable third down guy that you can keep the sticks moving. That's why the Lions have had one of the best offenses over the last couple of years.
And remember, the Browns took Anthony Schwartz over him in the 3rd round.
oh my God.
You had to do
I'm
it.
done. I'm done.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm supposed to trust these guys to get
I'm
the
sorry.
quarterback right.
I'm sorry.
Look, I'll be every
They did
time.
draft well this year. That's the only hope.
Hey, you go back through. You take a step forward. That and the Tristan Wirfs thing
God.
gets me every time. So here's the thing. I like what they do.
Jeez.
I like spamming stuff. Until you stop me, I'm gonna spam that. I'm gonna continue to send you junk email. I'm gonna continue to send you all kind of text messages. Hey,
Wait, are you sending me spam?
Yeah, listen, hey, they get me. I gotta get you. They gotta get me.
Fair.
It's fair.
Block that
Only
stuff
fair.
immediately.
Now that spam that they doing with Amon-Ra St. Brown is beautiful because they understand he's not a 6'5" outside long deep receiver. You know what they do? They said, all right, well, listen, most of these dudes want to put their corner at the boundary or follow people around. Good luck following them because we gonna get him all in the slot. We're going to move around. He's going to be on linebacker and nickelbacks. Can you imagine what he looks like when he's running over the middle and it's a linebacker and some little nickel guy? He's doing this the whole time. And then they mess you up because they throw Jamison Williams out and they say, hey, he's fast. You better guard him. Oh, and they got another tight end that's patrolling the middle too.
Yeah.
That's a threat to run corner routes, to run big time routes downfield. So he's getting.
And Gibbs is one of the best pass catching backs.
So now you got to guard the flats. The screen game can come, and every single time they give you all of that other stuff, and then throw in a little sprinkle of motion over the top with some herbs and garlic seasoning, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is just running wide open. You're like, who's guarding him? And they're like, well, coach, we have to honor the rest of this stuff. And he just continues to kill you.
Yeah.
All right, we got some super chats to wrap up this edition of the YouTube part of our show. Then we'll head over to KYC and KYC Plus. First super chat comes from James Mace Jr., who says, if you get pressure on Goff, he tends to make bad decisions and turn the ball over. He also wants to know if this Browns defense can be as good as the 2014 Seahawks or the 2010 Steelers.
I guess it's possible. I mean, those teams had multiple Hall of Famers, but maybe this team does too.
2014 was Legion of Boom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be. I mean, it's early, but
Got to see it. You know what? They can't be, though, because the offense is just so bad that it won't allow the defense
you
to
think
be that
they'll wear
good.
down as the season?
Yeah, how
I
could
do
they
too.
not?
I
How could they
think
not?
so.
It
Yeah,
might
like-
be as good in a vacuum.
Yeah,
Possibly. It's saying a
those
lot.
teams were competitive teams, not just because their defense was great. They
Right.
had an offense that was serviceable.
At least.
Our
Yeah.
offense doesn't reach the serviceable.
No, not even
So,
close.
All right,
it's
next
gonna be
super
harder.
chat. Vernell Jackson says, I love how you guys glaze over the opponents every week. Detroit's won nothing.
Hey, listen, man. So there's two
What does
things.
that mean, we
So
glazed
watch.
over the opponent?
So here's the
We,
thing.
we give them more flowers than they're due.
What did the Browns do? They're doing nothing. The Lions have won more than the Browns have.
There's a part of us that have to analyze things and to break down what happens on the field, and there's a part of us that have to give an opinion. Now, when it comes to the factual stuff, it's on paper. We've seen it. If you've seen it on tape and you watched it, you have to say that. Now, as far as an opinion goes, the Lions haven't won anything, but in your mind, does that mean that they're not better than the Browns in a lot of
Well,
areas?
here's the question.
No.
Have they won more than the Browns?
Yes.
Definitively, yes.
I don't. But what does he want? Like, what is the alternative that he wants from us?
I don't know.
To say the
He
Browns
wants
are
us
the
to say the
greatest?
Browns are going to win
cheerleaders?
every single week, and all of our opponents
don't-
stink.
I don't
Sorry,
understand
wrong
that.
show.
All right, next
Turn the
super
channel.
chat. Dragon the Abandoner said, strength of Kevin's offense is ball control, time of possession. 20 points is the baseline, but we need heavy Judkins and the Chaves moving, not a ton of points. Reggie the Bug Glover.
Is there a strength to Kevin
No.
Stefanski's offense? No.
No, the ball control is what you got to do.
Reggie
like paying
Glover
taxes.
says, gee, where'd you get your shirt from?
Oh, man, this right here, man, Salute to Service is coming out. I already got it early. So if you guys got this outfit, Kevin Stefanski, he has his and Jim Shores did, but I got mine ready to go, and it's personalized. I got the G
cool
Bush in the
looking.
back. Yeah, it's
Miss Bell 70
But where did you
says,
get it?
Bernie
Here
knows
comes the
better.
Shador's tweet.
What'd he say?
I said, here comes the Shador tweet. She asks about
Bernie
Shador
knows
every
better.
day.
His opinions are as old as he is. Bill Rodewalt says the four-way quarterback battle is a myth. They had injuries, had to bring Snoop in for camp. M. Bine says, I trust Bernie, but Dylan is better than P.J. Walker, and we ran him out there over and over. Maybe Stefanski regrets what he did to DTR, but I want to see the rookies. Miss Bell says there was never a four-quarterback battle. Stop that narrative. Sean Baker says, love the show, appreciate you guys, but as an OG 12 fan, we get a bad rap here, especially my man Jason. We much rather watch Dylan ball out and keep 12 on the bench than selling us on Joe Flacco. Miss Bell 70 says,
Who's trying to
lose
sell
with
you on Joe
Flacco or
Flacco?
DG, what's the difference? Reese said this morning they must make Flacco comfortable. You mean rookies can't play if comfortable? Sean Baker says, not ready and bad O-line play is a bad excuse. Your O-line will be bad next year, and your quarterback won't be ready. Browns fans, let's get hyped for the 2027 season. Vernell Jackson says, if the quarterback of the future isn't currently on the roster, then that's an epic fail by AB. Kevin can't coach quarterback, so go waste another pick. Pathetic. Miss Bell says, Giants are starting Dart. Let's move the goalpost again. The Hot Saucers say the Browns are the only team that hasn't given up a 15-yard run this season, and Flacco is 3-0 against Detroit in his career.
Meaningless.
KD Dog 96 says, I can't stop thinking about how good this defense could be if they had JOK. James May says, I've never seen Jerome Ford break a tackle.
No, he never has.
Jeff's Bookshelf says that OJ line was next level.
Yeah,
It was great.
That was
Dragon the Abandoner said the 2000 Ravens benched Tony Banks with a 5-3 record. And two more real quick. We have
Yeah,
30
but that
seconds.
team was great.
I mean, they benched Hoyer for Manziel here.
Real quick, Acid Brooks says Big Paws Bush. He's not a 6'5" long deep receiver. And Acid Brooks says the Lions' offense should be just as scared of our defense as we are of their offense.
They respect
Who
that.
said the Browns should be scared of the Lions' offense?
Respect and scared is two different
Yeah,
things.
that's a big difference.
Ain't nobody scared of nobody.
All right, we're heading over to WKYC
Yeah,
Plus.
respect.
We'll see you in 3 minutes. And Coach Tyvis is making his debut with a breakdown package.